All right, let's add and subtract some decimals here. We're going to start out with 372.1, 33.7, and 42.3. And I'm going to put down the decimal point right down below because they're all lined up. And I'm going to start on the right-hand side, and I'm going to go ahead and add them up. And 1 plus 7 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. So I'm going to put the 1 down in the tenths and carry the 1 over there. So 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. It's just like adding regular numbers. Next up, I have 7 plus 3. It's actually 70 plus 30, but we understand. 7 plus 3 is 10. 10 plus 4 is 14. So I'm going to put down the 4. And I'm going to carry the 1. That's actually 100 that I'm carrying. Next up, I have 1 plus 3, or 100 plus 300 gives me 400. Meaning my final answer in this case is 448.1. This next one's going to be a little interesting. I'm going to rewrite them. And I'm going to put the two positive ones first. And you'll see why I'm doing that here in just a second. So I'm going to go 56.007. Plus 8.252 minus 0.319. And the reason I did that is I want to add the two positive pieces first. So off to the side over here, I'm going to write down 56.007. And below that, I'm going to write the 8.252. This is my scratch work here. And I'm going to add these up. So I'm going to put my decimal point down. Make sure that's always lined up. That's going to be really important. So 7 plus 2 is actually 9. 0 plus 5 is 5. And 0 plus 2 is 2. Now 6 plus 8 gives me 14. I'm going to take the 4. And I'm going to carry the 1. That's actually a 10 that I'm carrying. And then I'm going to go 1 plus 5, which is 6. So now I'm going to go back to my problem. And I'm going to go 64.259. And I'm going to subtract the 0.319. All right. Again, I'm going to make sure my decimal points are all lined up nicely. And I'm going to notice I have 9 minus 9. That's very nice. So I put my 0. 5 minus 1, which is 4. Now the 2 minus 3 I have a problem with, so I'm going to have to borrow that from the 4 here. That 4 becomes a 3. And I carry a 1 to give me 12. Or 12 minus 3, which is 9. Now I have 3 minus 0, which is 3. And 6 minus 0 is 6. So my final answer is 63.94. All right. For our third example, I notice that I have 3 positive values that I'm adding up. I'm going to go ahead and treat those separately and add that up. And I'm going to take 5.000. I'm going to put 3 zeros because I see 3 decimal points there. And underneath that I have the 0.429. And below that I have the 0.76. And I'm going to put 0.760 just to put a placeholder there. I'm going to add those up because they're all positive. First thing, I'm going to line up my decimal point. And I'm going to add up 0 plus 9 plus 0 is 9. Then 0 plus 2 is 2. 2 plus 6 is 8. 0 plus 4 is 4. 4 plus 7 is 11. I'm going to take the 1 and carry it. And 1 plus 5 is 6. So I'm going to rewrite my problem. And I'm going to put 6 point equals 6.189 minus, because plus and negative means minus, 100.2. Now you'll notice that 100.2 is much, much larger than 6.189. So what I'm going to do is I have to subtract, but I need to remember that my answer, I'm going to put equals here, without doing any work is going to be negative. Now I'm going to go off to the side and do some scratch work. And I'm going to do 100.2. And I'm going to put two more zeros after that. Minus 6.189. Now, I know this looks backwards, and it is backwards, but for subtraction purposes, I'm going to write it this way, and we already put down that my answer is going to be negative, so we'll handle this. First thing, I'm going to put my decimal down. Now, I'm going to try to go 0 minus 9, but I can't, so I have to go over the 2 to borrow. The 2 becomes a 1. And next to that, I get a 10, a 1 next to it. And I'm going to cross that out because now I have to borrow from that 10, which becomes a 9. And now I get a 10 above here. So 10 minus 9 gives me 1. 9 minus 8 gives me 1. And 1 minus 1 gives me 0. Now I'm going to have to do something similar with the 106. I'm going to have to borrow from the 1, which becomes 0. And that 1 becomes there. I cross that out to give me a 9. And I get a 1 here. So 10 minus 6 is 4. 9 minus 0 is 9. Meaning my final answer is now negative, I'm back up here, negative 94.011. And that is my actual final answer. Number 4. We'll do something similar. Notice that the 20.67 is actually just a little bit larger than the 20.15. So I'm going to put equals negative. And down a little bit lower, I'm going to subtract 20.67 minus 20.15. And I know that that's backwards, but I already know that my answer is going to be negative. So I have that up top as a negative already. So I'm going to put my decimal point down. Now I'm going to have 7 minus 5, which gives me 2. 6 minus 1, which gives me 5. And the 20s completely cancel, so I get 0 in front. Meaning my final answer is 0.52. View it like this. $20.67, $20.15, the difference between them is 0.52. Now, again, notice I have it a little bit backwards, so going back to my final answer, it's already negative 0.52. Make sure you keep that negative. That is important. All right, what we're going to do with this number 5 here is, again, notice that the larger number, the 25.3, is the negative portion, so I'm going to put equals negative right away. But now I need to find the difference and subtract them. So down below I'm going to put 25.3, and I'm going to put 2 zeros after that 3, minus 18.651. Now, again, I know it looks backwards, but I've already accounted for the negative up above with the equal symbol. So I'm going to line up my decimal point. And I have another situation where I have to borrow. So I'm going to borrow the 3. Becomes a 2. Next to that becomes a 10. Cross that out, I get a 9. And then give it a 10. So I have 10 minus 1, which gives me 9 down below. 9 minus 5, which is 4. Now I got another situation. 2 minus 6 isn't going to work, so I got to borrow from the 5. And that becomes 12 minus 6, which gives me 6. And now I'm going to have to borrow from the 2, because the 4 isn't big enough. So I get a 1 over here. There we go. And 14 minus 8 is 6. And 1 minus 1 is 0. So overall, my answer is a negative up top here, 6.649. Got to include that negative. Last one. I'm going to go 1.000 minus, and I only put the zeros in, it's just easier for me to visually see, minus 0.325. And we're going to do this crazy borrowing thing again. Because I can't borrow from any of the zeros, I got all the way to the 1, that becomes a 0. Which gives me a 10, but I got to borrow from that, which gives me 9. Which gives me a 10, but I got to borrow from that, which gives me a 9. Which gives me a 10, and now I can subtract. Oh, I forgot to put my decimal point down. So I have 10 minus 5, which is 5. I have 9 minus 2, which is 7. 9 minus 3, which is 6. And that is my final answer, 0.675. There you have it.